Now, Tico, I know this is a contentious one, so I think we should maybe
You're still dead to me, Pete,
rip the band-aid off about this wine. So, but I'm going to just talk very briefly about what this wine is, and then you can talk about its arrival. So basically, we're quite fortunate to work with some amazing producers all over Australia, and every now and then we get to produce some wines just for us. So this is one of them. So this is a wine that we've called Ebrius. So Ebrius is the Latin term for drunk. So just a bit of fun, just sort of
subtle.
It's just obviously responsibly, not in any other way. But what I liked about this wine, I tasted it a few times whilst it was being made, and really love the brightness. It's from a really exceptional Yarra Valley vineyard made by some great people. Can't tell you who they are, but they're awesome. They know who they are. Thank you. And I like to just take the mickey a little bit. So the label, has been designed for us. It's just, a really traditional sort of family crest. It's got the unicorns on the outside because, Muppet Soms like me like to talk about drinking unicorn wines that are really hard to find and really expensive. So sort of taking a little bit of that in the crest. You've got a knife and fork just talking about, what you should be doing is eating. There's a duck and a pig because it's Pinot. That's what you should be having. And there's a glass of wine on there. So, just something we had made. Really fun, light, vibrant style of Pinot Noir that arrives in one hit, an entire pallet to Tony's house.
At 7 o'clock in the
7
morning.
o'clock in the morning on the hottest day of the year thus far, and without a pallet jack or a forklift.
And you didn't pick the phone up until about 45 minutes later.
I was very busy.
On the golf course.
I was working, I was on a course. So, yeah, look, it's from a challenging arrival. We're very happy with where this wine's sitting right now, and so are the people that are drinking it.
Sitting in my house, mate. So
yeah. We better actually. If you want this, you better come and get it.
Apologies for the few cartons short. It's a cracker, but it's really delicious, and it's certainly my flavour. I love a great Pinot, and it's approachable. It's easy. It's delicious.
I think it is. I think the key thing for me when we started this process, talking to these guys about making this wine, was the fact that we just wanted it to be. It's almost like the conversation we had about beer a little while ago. We just wanted it to taste like Pinot.
Yeah.
And for $30 Pinots, you want some value there. You want something that does do and say exactly what it says it's going to do. And I think we've done that with this wine, and you look at it straight away, the colour is amazing. It's super bright and vibrant and just shiny and polished, and I love the fact that you do pick it up straight away and it's like it's Pinot. It's just you just know it's just that sour cherry sort of classic Pinot character. It's also very, very much about the Yarra Valley, which is where it's from. And we've been pouring this by the glass for probably a month or so now, and again, people just cannot get enough of this stuff. It's that giggle juice almost mentality. It's just
It's the tough bit about being a Pinot drinker is that there's no such thing as a cheap good Pinot.
Yeah.
And $30, I think that even though that it's not terribly expensive, we know that wine can be super expensive, but I think for $30, I always talk about great value.
Yeah.
Because you could be a real wine snob drinking $100 bottles of wine, get that in your glass and go, oh shit, where did you get that from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think for me, without being a wine and food snob, which I'm not, you could basically just eat anything with that.
Yeah.
Like, it is just so approachable. There's no, I could sit down and have some oysters with that and not feel embarrassed, or obviously duck would be fantastic. You have a steak with it.
Yeah.
And it's a great red wine that, like a day like today, if it's hot outside, you're not going to sit in here and have sweat beating off your brow and drinking a glass of red,
Absolutely. And it's also that thing where, again, if you're at home and you're sitting around and, barbecue at lunch or whatever, you just chuck this on ice for 5-10 minutes and just take the temp down a little bit. All we do when we do that is we're really just capturing those light and bright flavours, the fruit, and we're just sort of dulling down a little bit of the heavier flavours, the oak and the alcohol. I mean, this thing is not heavy in either of those, but still people talk about room temperature. It's not 35 degrees, particularly in Queensland in summer. It's just like room temperature is not room temperature. We're talking about European room temperature, which is generally around that 18 and 19 mark. And so if you throw this in the fridge for 10 or 15 minutes,
that's all I do.
Or just sit it on ice.
On top of the ice bucket as well.
Exactly.
I think that's the way to go.
Makes a difference. But I think you're right. The versatility of something like this, and just being so light and bright and crunchy, and having some good acid and having that really clean fruit, just makes it really easy to drink, but also easy to mash.
Yeah, I agree.
If we had to pick something,
I would, because
I want a sausage roll with it. I don't know why. I just want a sausage roll.
You're the only person I know that could put David Chang in his place, mate, or Domino's Pizza. But I think that you know what I'll do what everybody expects, and everybody should have a really good duck recipe in their repertoire. So why don't I put a Confit duck recipe together, which is something that everybody should have, because it's, as much as people go Confit duck, it's not hard. It's super easy. It sounds
hard though, doesn't
it? It does. It just takes a bit of time, and if you want to do it really, really well, like I salt my duck legs, and so it takes a bit of time, but it's super easy and it's idiot proof. And the best bit about it, you can either reheat the duck once you confit it, and it's just obviously super delicious, or you confit it and leave it under fat, and it's a traditional way of actually preserving it. So it'll keep for a long time if it's completely submerged in the duck fat. But you can shred it into a salad, but my recommendation is confit the duck. Right now at Christmas time, stone fruit are epic. Beautiful nectarine or a peach. Roast it. Confit duck, roast peach. Little bit of red wine jus on it, and a glass of that, and
boxes being ticked.
It'll blow your pants straight off, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, really, that's
bit yucky.
Wow, but that's probably I won't come to your place when you're making duck. But anyway, let's look out for that duck recipe, and everyone can lose their pants over it apparently. So
Happy New Year.
Mate. Happy New Year.